Shalom, Israel. This is the Isupk under commanding General Yohana. It's the Isupk out of 125th Street, 1 West. This is the Isupk out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under commanding General Yohana. You know what I'm saying? This is our Wednesday night law class. Let's clap it up. You can leave your questions and your comments in the chat. All right? This is not the Christian church. We welcome questions. You know what I'm saying? Right. Well, today's class is about false idols, right? The worship of other gods. And we're going to get into how do you know you worshiping something, right? We're going to get into what is false gods and why we shouldn't do it, what the Most High said about it, right? What the Most High said he would do to us if we didn't do what he said do, right? And what he would do for us if we did do what he said do. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get into some more stories that reflect and show other people that's in our records, the blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians, the real Jews, right? The real Jews of the real biblical Jews of the Bible. And we're gonna start in Exodus 20:4-3.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20, and verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Salaki. Can you go inside the YouTube and see if the sound is okay? Testing. Can you hear me? 1 West. The water. Now the scripture we starting in is Exodus chapter 20 and matter of fact, we're going to start at 1.
The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying, verse 2, I am the Lord thy God, which hath brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
So, all right, now right there. Now, this is which God? He's been specific to let you know who he is. So you won't get confused. So you won't get mixed up with all of these other false gods that all the other heathens made up from their imagination, from their own lust of what they was personally astonished by. They was astonished by the stars, so they wanted to make a star god. Astonished about how the water worked and how it moved and how it looked, so they made a water god. He wants to be specific about who he is. Start from the beginning of that verse.
I am the Lord thy God, which hath brought thee out of the land of Egypt.
This is the God that brought you out of the land of Egypt. And to give you something else clarity too, right? Because, if you ain't getting brought out of Egypt, you know what I'm saying? He not talking to you.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? He talking to a specific group of people. You know what I'm saying? He's talking to you, Israel, the blacks, Latinos, and Native Indians.
Right.
He brought you out of Egypt. You know what I'm saying? Go ahead, read.
Out of the house of bondage.
Out of the house of bondage. The whole world, the whole earth wasn't in bondage in Egypt. Egyptians wasn't in bondage in Egypt. Who was in bondage in Egypt? The Israelites. You know what I'm saying? They were the ones that was in bondage. They were the ones that were under oppression. Just like today. The same God. The true God, the only God. Go ahead, continue.
Verse 3. Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Now he's telling you specifically who he is and what you shall not do. And in verse 1, he told you, take heed to these words that I say. Meaning they are very important for you to listen to me. There's going to be repercussions. There's going to be ramifications for your actions of not listening to me. So pay attention. Take heed to these words. Listen. Do as I say do. Go ahead, continue.
Verse 4. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in the heaven above or that is in the earth beneath.
Now he's giving you specific things that he wants you to do. Talking to the real Jews, the Latinos, blacks, and Native Indians. Don't make graven images of things that are in the water or they're above you. You know what I'm saying? Because these is what the heathens do. They make images of all types of animals and certain things, and they put them in a high place. You know what I'm saying? They give them those objects reverence. You know what I'm saying? And he's brought you out of Egypt, brought you out of bondage. He even went in and say that. You know what I'm saying? He even reminds you of the good thing that he did for you. Right. He ain't just say, I brought you out of Egypt like you came out of a place that was, not so. I brought you out of bondage. You know what I'm saying? Where you were less. You were weakened. I brought you out of that. And he's telling you what? Start from verse 3.
Thou shalt have no other gods before me.
Thou shalt have no other gods before him. And we're going to get some more into that. How you make something a god. Drop down at verse 5.
Verse 5. The book of Exodus, chapter 20 and verse 5. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I am the Lord thy God, and a jealous God.
Is a what?
A jealous God.
He's a loving God.
A jealous God.
He's a jealous God. Meaning, I'm giving you a direct order, like your father. Do not serve no other gods. Don't put nothing in above me or even equal to me. I am the only God that you should have. And these are direct orders. Right? This is simple and clear. He even made it even more simple by telling you, don't even make no images. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like the heathen. I mean, because that's what they do. Don't even make an image of anything that's above or low. Right? I forgot what I was getting ready to say after this. And we wanted to start with this scripture, you know what I'm saying? Because the Most High, this is one of the this is not the, well, I don't want to say one of the key things, right? But it kind of is. You know what I'm saying? Because following these laws and these commandments, if he was your God, that's how you would serve him. You know what I'm saying? So in a sense, this is one of the key ways how we are not under him. You can't be still under the Most High while you serve another God.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? While you do the things that a person would do to serve the Nimrod. You know what I mean? With Christmas. While you do the things that the heathen does by putting up a tree. You know what I mean? By doing the tradition of a heathen culture, right? And the way that they do it to serve that specific false god that they serve, you cannot do those things and then turn around and say, I love Jesus, or that is my only God. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get some more into this, but we just wanted to touch bases of what the Most High said. You know what I'm saying? And this is not the Christian church. We follow all the commandments and laws.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because this Old Testament right here of not following, not serving another God, it goes with the New Testament. And it's another thing. The Christian church going to tell you they don't follow the Old Testament, which they absolutely don't. But they say, the lie comes in is when they say they follow the New Testament. Well, serving another God doesn't change in the New Testament. You know what I'm saying? In Exodus, he states himself who he is, right? What he done for you and what he wants you to do for him. How can you just throw that away and say, I don't want to follow the Old Testament? It's the same thing as the New. In the New Testament, you don't serve another God. In the Old Testament, don't serve another God. We're going to get some more into this. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get some more. Give me... Give me... Give me Jeremiah 35. Jeremiah 35 and 50. No, give me Deuteronomy. Deuteronomy 28. Salaki. Give me Deuteronomy 28 and 1. And then we're going to skip to 15.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1.
And Salaki, real quick. Now, just right here in Exodus, he told you who he was, right? And we're going to go back, and he told you, he gave you a direct law of what you shouldn't do, right? Now I'm going to go to back where he told you how he took you out of the land of Egypt and how he broke down the stipulations of what would happen if you didn't follow him and what would happen if you did follow him. Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments.
And to do what?
And to do all his commandments.
To do some of his commandments.
All his commandments.
Only the ones in the New Testament.
All his commandments.
To do all his commandments. And something sounds familiar because in Exodus, he's telling you how you should hearken. He's telling you the same thing. This is the pattern of our Father, right? He comes to you. He stops you for a minute. He tells you, listen, this is serious. Hearken, listen to me. He's calming you down from all of the heathen activity you doing, right? From all of the twerking and the drinking, right? From all of the Christmas and the Easter, right? From the Irish, being at the Irish pub on St. Patrick's Day. He's stopping you for a minute to say, listen, calm down, listen to me, listen. And then he's giving you instructions. And the reason why I wanted to go back into Deuteronomy, because I wanted to show we're in Exodus. We're in Exodus, right? Just how the New Testament comes after the Old Testament. Well, Deuteronomy comes before Exodus. You know what I mean? And I just wanted to go back into history where he told you that he took you out of bondage to show you the things that will happen to you if you don't have him as your only God. If you do worship other gods, what will happen? Go ahead, continue.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1.
Salaki, I said go back to Deuteronomy. Well, Exodus is before Deuteronomy. Salaki, go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 1. And it shall come to pass, if thou shalt hearken diligently unto the voice of the Lord thy God, to observe and to do all his commandments, which I command thee this day, that the Lord thy God will set thee on high above all nations of the earth.
Now, he's telling you that if you listen to me and you do what I tell you to do, that I'll put you above what?
All nations of the earth.
All nations. Above Moab, the Chinese. Above Salaki is Ammonite. Am I correct? Ammon. Ammon, the Japanese. Yeah, Moab, Chinese, Ammon, the Japanese. Above Esau, the oppressor. You know what I mean? Above all these other nations. You know what I'm saying? The Most High definitely does have favoritism for Israel. And that's another reason why we're in this condition that we in. Right? You have favoritism for your children than the other children on your block or the other children in your neighborhood. Even though you do care about all the children on your neighborhood, you want them to win. But you have a special type of love for your children, right? And if they do good, they'll get things that the other children on the block won't get. You know what I mean? And this is the way that the Most High is dealing with us. He's giving us simple instructions. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of us in this Christian church, they really don't break down to you worshiping. You know what I mean? In church, they'll tell you that worship is clapping your hands. You know, tapping a tangerine, talking in tongues. You know what I mean? You can only worship in church, right? So the only way you would have to worship another God, you know, because you would have to go into what? A Catholic church.
Right.
You know what I mean? They make it that simple. So to somebody else who's walking around, it's like, well, I'm not worshiping this. You know what I mean? I ain't going to their church. You know what I mean? I'm not reading their Bible, their Quran. Throwing on that kufi is worshiping worshiping that God. You know what I mean? Celebrating any of these holidays, right? Like celebrating we talk about Christmas, right? What just passed? Easter. Celebrating Easter is worshiping Estar. You know, Ishtar. Or the other god, what's her name? It's the same one. Start with an E. Astoria. It start with an E. Yeah, I can't remember, but we'll get it. They'll come to us later. That's worshiping that God, the God that the fertility God, the God of fertility. You know what I mean? Doing with whatever the Babylonians did to worship that God, and you wonder why eggs. What does eggs have to do with the reincarnation of Christ? Right? Well, eggs have nothing to do with it. And if we took the time, right, to get some knowledge, right, to obtain some knowledge instead of just listening to our pastor all day, then we will understand that these other religions come from another nation, right? And I got you. We will learn that these holidays come from another nation. It is the tradition of another nation how they paid homage and reverence to their God. And then right here in this book, you know what I mean, in this chapter, the verse told you he's going to put you above other nations. It kind of makes sense, though, right? That every nation, that he's putting you above other nations. All of these holidays, each one of them come from another nation. Right. You know what I mean? And he's only talking to you, one nation, meaning this nation of Israel has a God. It kind of makes sense. It would make sense that these are eggs and bunnies are not in the Bible. They have nothing to do with the reincarnation. Let me look it up. Well, this God that they made up, it has is a fertility God. You know what I mean? Who thinks that the egg and the bunny, because how do they reproduce, you know, makes them worthy to be an image. You know what I mean? Put on reference to look at in awe. Go ahead.
I have a question, sir.
Come.
I know with the eggs, they paint the eggs because the eggs supposed to represent that fertility God's eggs in her womb. But I never understood why did they come up with the concept of that bunny.
The butter?
The bunny, the Easter bunny.
Well, they came up with the concept of the Easter bunny because you know what, Easter bunny has a 30-day birth cycle. You know what I'm saying? So it can get pregnant and have his babies within 30 days. Yeah, so it's you know what I mean? It's a fertility thing. They can reproduce. They can reproduce what? I think if I might be mistaken. Let me look it up. I think they can reproduce maybe like a couple to 9 to 10 times. You know what I'm saying? And have a 36 litter or whatever. So that's a lot. You know what I mean? This is why they put these images. This is why the Most High said, don't put these images on high. Don't put that bunny above. When you worship, when you celebrate Easter, and you make those eggs for your children, and you paint them, and y'all go search them and find them, you're putting a bunny, you know what I'm saying, above the God that you so-called say you love.
Right.
And it's so vain and empty. And we're going to get some more into it, man. And what do you say we would get in verse 2? If we when he set thee on high above all nations.
Verse 2. And all these blessings shall come on thee and overtake thee.
So blessings will come on us and they will overtake us, right? If we don't worship other gods. And it's so easy for you. It's no excuse now. You got the internet. You know what I mean? You can look these things up in your mind. If you are a Christian, right? Or you believe in Christ, and you're not a Christian, but you believe in the Bible, you know certain stories. So you know what you can decipher, right? And differentiate, how you say it? Differentiate what is not a part of, what is not in these scriptures, what's not in these records, and what is. Is a Christmas tree in these records being a part of Christ's birth? You know, let me investigate it, right? Let me seek the truth. You know what I'm saying? You had something to say? Wow. We can take it down to, so we were talking about the blessings that you would get if you don't serve these other gods, right? Let me get go down to 28 and 15.
The book of Deuteronomy.
Now, what he about to get into, we talked about the blessings that you would get. Now we're going to get into the curses that you'll get if you do serve these other gods. Go ahead.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28 and verse 15. But it shall come to pass, if thou wilt not hearken unto the voice of the Lord thy God.
If you don't listen, that's what hearken means. Listen to the Most High. Go ahead.
To observe, to do all his commandments and his statutes, which I command thee this day, that all these curses shall come upon thee and overtake thee.
And you can read this in yourself. It starts at Deuteronomy 28, chapter 15. After you read the scripture that this brother Bakar just read, it'll start going into the curses that'll come upon you if you don't follow what the Most High says. And then you look outside your door. You call your auntie. You call your cousin. You think about people in your family, and you say and you think about it. That am I feeling these curses? Is my family and my children? Do they feel these curses? Have I heard stories about my parents and my grandparents and my great aunties? Have these things that the Most High is saying that are curses, have they happened to me? Are they happening to my friends? And you know, you'll be the one that answers your own question. But it takes a little bit of discipline, and it takes a little bit of search. Show yourself worthy. You mean study. Be truthful in all things. Seek the truth. How do you seek the truth? Study. You look things up. You know what I mean? We grow up and we want to be different from some of us that grew up in church and Islam, right? We decided not to take on the religion and the culture and traditions of our parents, right? And what do? We just go to work and go home. But in your mind, you still have a sense of there's a God somewhere. Well, put the work in. You know what I mean? Search and find the truth.
Right. Why
am I studying these holidays? Every year you spend money. From the beginning of the year to the end, it's non-stop, right? And even with the some of our sisters, even with the guilt trip of thinking that you need to participate in your cousin's birthday. You know what I mean? And all of your friends' birthday. It's just a non-stop of money coming out. You know what I mean? Not seeking the truth puts you in bondage of not having no money, of being broke. And you wonder why. Let's be smart, Israel. Let's be better. Let's be different than the heathen. Let's be smarter than the heathen. You know what I mean? They are making, the oppressor is making money off of you. You know what I'm saying? The general just talked about how much they made just off of the eclipse. You know what I'm saying? They made millions off of it. People buying telescopes. People buying the little whatever glasses that they need to look at the sun, which is stupid. You know what I mean? And it's cool. You can buy the glasses and look at it, but when you make a big deal about these holidays and you want to indulge in some of them, you will never have rest. It's bad enough the rent is going up, the electric bill is going up. You gotta pay water now. You gotta pay water. You gotta pay for water. Yeah, water is a mortgage payment. And I personally don't celebrate. I don't understand personally how my parents or I did it before me today, right? How can you spend money every year because you got New Year's, right? Valentine's Day, St. Patrick's Day, Easter, Memorial Day, or whatever Labor Day, or whichever one falls in, birthdays, 4th of July, even more. You know what I mean? They got all of the LGBT holidays that they mix it, they make it all up into it. You know what I mean? Thanksgiving, New Year, Christmas, and Halloween. You ain't never resting. Did I say birthdays already? Birthday depending on how many children you got. God dang, you got birthdays. You know what I mean? Mom's wants something for her birthday. It's all you ever think. Oh yeah. When they say my birthday all week. You know what I mean? And you know they gonna make you feel like dirt. You hear me? Like a turd if you don't give them nothing on their birthday. Man, it's a lot. It's a lot. You said dismiss me with all that. You hear me?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That's why you in bondage, because you're not following, you're not hearkening to the Most High words. You think he's just telling you this just to tell you something. You know what I mean? Huh? Con. So that's why we in bondage, because we're not following, hearkening to the Most High words. You know what I'm saying? We think he's just saying it just to say it. You think it has no meaning to it. You know what I mean? You need to get into the Isupk and take a time of rest.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Get into all black and sit and listen and hearken and learn and do some studying and save yourself. You know what I mean? That's crazy. Save yourself. The Most High is trying to save you. He's trying to save your pockets. He's trying to save your generation, so they can have something that's going to them, so you can be able to save some money to make generational wealth. You wonder why life is so hard. It's hard for us because we make it hard, because we don't hearken to these simple words. You know what I'm saying? We're going to get some more into this. We're going to go into, we're going to get into one of our kings in his book, King Solomon. Give me 1 Kings chapter 11, verse 1. And while you getting that, we talking about the worship of other gods, right? And we talking about how it hurts the black, Latino, and Native Indian community. You know what I'm saying? How it puts us in bondage. It takes so much money from us, let alone all the bills that we got to deal with, the taxes. You know what I mean? The Key Bridge just blew up or fell down, whichever one it was, right? You know what I mean? And somebody got to pay for it. You going to pay for it.
Right.
You're going to pay for it some way. Whatever ticket you think that you slid out of, they're going to come, you're going to pay that. It's going to that bridge. You know what I mean? And just taking the time to separate ourselves from the world, right? And trying to do something different. And following these laws and these commandments that the Christian church say you don't need to follow. You know what I mean? They don't want to follow these laws. You know how much the Christian church make on Easter? You know what I mean? They make money. You done bought Easter clothes looking all nice for everybody, and then you going into a church and putting 50, 20 into the basket. 2 times, maybe 3 times a day. You know what I mean? Then they probably selling food in there. They making money. Everybody is going to church on Easter. They not going to stop that in no church. They not. Everybody going to church around Christmas time. You know, whatever Sunday that is right there, they going there. Then they making money. Before, when I was younger, Halloween was a no-no. You know what I mean? It was the worship of the devil, the ghosts and spooky stuff. You know what I mean? They used to tell me, God didn't give you didn't give you fear. You know what I mean? So that was a no-no. But now all of a sudden, the Christian church, they say, wait, we could get some money out of this. Let's just have the Halloween inside the church.
Right.
You know what I mean? And dismiss me with all that, man. Dismiss me with all that. I need my money. I need my money for other things. You know what I mean? You got that?
Come.
Oh, it's a lie, real quick. And we about to get into King Solomon. King Solomon was one of the wisest kings, right? And he set up the kingdom of heaven. You know what I'm saying? The kingdom of Israel. He set it up where all the other nations were coming to us, right? And his father was a man after God's own heart. You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing to think about. He set the kingdom up with he didn't set all the kingdoms in the nations. He didn't have a kingdom for every nation, right? And everybody was working together. You know what I mean? And the Most High loved everybody, and all nations prosper. He set the kingdom of Israel up, and all nations came to Israel. You know what I mean? Giving us things on certain days. You know what I mean? That's how the Most High wants it. But we're going to get into him because some of y'all think that he fell out of the good graces with the Most High because he had many wives. No, he fell out of good. We're going to get into more. It wasn't because he had many wives. Go ahead.
The book of 1 Kings, chapter 11 and verse 1. Mm-hmm. But King Solomon loved many strange women. He loved many what? Many strange women.
Hold on. Many what?
Many strange women.
Many strange women, right? So they calling them strange because they was of other nations.
Right.
They wasn't the nation of Israel. That sounds like the same Most High that tells us in Deuteronomy that he will make us a nation above other nations, right? Go ahead.
But King Solomon loved many strange women, together with the daughter of Pharaoh, women of the Moabites, Ammonites, Edomites.
Salaki, read that again from the women of what? Moabites?
Moabites.
What's this? The Chinese. Go ahead.
Ammonites.
The Japanese.
Edomites.
The oppressor.
Zidonians.
I don't know what the Zidonians is. We gonna find out though. Go ahead.
And Hittites.
The Hittites, I think they the part of the Africans. Hamites, yeah, Khan. I can't say African. I can't say African. Oh, Khan. The Hittites, which is the Hamites, are the Africans, right? Go ahead. Continue to read in verse 2.
Verse 2. Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel.
Hold on. So he's saying of the nations. He just named a whole bunch of nations that were not of Israel. Sir. He just named some nations that were not of Israel. That we just gave you today's name of a couple of them. And in verse 2 he say what?
Of the nations concerning which the Lord said unto the children of Israel, ye shall not go into them.
Meaning you shall not marry them. You know what I'm saying? In other words, you should not have, on TikTok, right? You shouldn't have sex with them. Because sex is marriage. You should not take them to be your wife. You know what I mean? Go ahead.
Neither shall they come unto you.
Salaki, don't get with them. You know what I'm saying? Don't take on the strange women. It wasn't the fact that he had 300 wives. It was because he took on the strange wives. He could have had 300 wives of Israel.
Teach,
you know what I'm saying? He could have had flavors out of the 12 tribes. You know what I'm saying? He could have had Dominican. He could have had the Jamaican, the Benjamite,
Right.
Manasseh, the Cubans,
Right.
Gad, our Native Indian tribe, Ephraim, our Puerto Ricans. You know what I'm saying? He could have had Levi, the Haitians. He could have had 300 of any of them. It wasn't that. It was that because he took on strange wives. He took on the Chinese and the Japanese and the African. And why did he? And go ahead, continue. Salaki, go ahead, continue.
Ye shall not go into them, neither shall they come in unto you. For surely they will turn away your heart after their gods.
See, he shouldn't deal with the strange wives because they would turn his heart to their God, to the God of Buddha. You know what I mean? To whatever Japanese God they got. Same price, same thing, Buddha or whatever. You know what I mean? To the God of the Africans, whatever they worship. You know what I'm saying? Whatever cow or goat, you know what I mean, or donkey, zebra that they worship. You know what I mean? He would turn that to the God of what's the name of the God that start with an M, that you sacrifice your children to it. What's it called? Molech. Yeah, Molech. You know what I'm saying? He would turn it to start following the traditions, right? Of however what they did to worship that God. You know what I mean? For example, how do Muslims worship their God? Right? They do things. You know what I mean? What they do is how they worship their God. They pray 5 times. Right? That is what they say their God requires of them. To pray to them 5 times. While they bang their head on the ground. Right? You know what I mean? While they wear a kufi on their head. You know what I mean? The style of clothing that they wear also contributes to them worshiping their God. Right? You know what I mean? What they do, that little magic carp they walk around with all day, right? They use that to worship their God. They face a certain way to worship their God. When you do Christmas, you think it's just something that's small. That is something that is, you like it. It makes you feel happy because the children is happy, right? And you wasn't happy when you was a child. Oh, you had it hard. You know what I mean? You had it so hard. Like nobody else in your neighborhood had it hard. Like your next door neighbor didn't have it hard. But it just makes you so happy when Christmas time come around. And you spend all of the last little bit that you have so your children can break whatever you buy them and still be disobedient to you. You know what I'm saying? But you just got to do it. On that, give me Jeremiah 10:1. It's like Jeremiah 10:1. You know what I'm saying? And this is what King Solomon did. To get out of to not be talked about in the records anymore. You know what I'm saying? This is what he did wrong. He took on strange wives and they turned his heart away from the Most High into their gods. And he started to do a certain thing that was a part of that God's tradition, that nation tradition to worship that God. Like the things that we do when we celebrate Christmas. You got that?
Come.
Like these things that this scripture is about to talk about now. Go ahead.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 10 and verse 1. Hear ye the word which the Lord speaketh unto you, O house of Israel.
Now he's saying, listen, O house of Israel. Who he talking to? House of Israel. Because who he talking to?
Blacks, Native Americans.
The house of Israel.
House of Israel.
You know what I'm saying? That's the blacks, Latinos, and who else?
Native Americans.
Native Americans. He's talking to the same group of people that he was talking to when we read in Deuteronomy, that he was talking to in Exodus. He's not talking to everyone. He's talking to a specific group of people, the real Jews.
Right.
Go ahead.
Verse 2. Thus saith the Lord, learn not the way of the heathen.
Learn not the way of the heathen. The same way that King Solomon was not to learn the way of his strange wives. Go ahead.
And be not dismayed at the signs of heaven.
And we just was dismayed by something, because, you know what I'm saying? We was just dismayed by the eclipse. Thinking that the Most High is going to come back when the eclipse happens. Or the end of the world going to come back when the eclipse happens. Go ahead.
For the heathen are dismayed at them.
For the heathen are dismayed at the signs of heaven. Get down. Get down. So, the heathen was dismayed at the signs of heaven. The Babylonians parted the sky into a chart. They took a grid, and put it up, to the sky. And they parted it in different sections. And that's how they started to name. That's where you get Aquarius. You know what I'm saying? Virgo, Gemini. That's what they did. Because they was dismayed by heaven. You know what I mean? That's what they did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so he's targeting really Babylon right now when he's not really targeting them, but he's talking about them. Because they did this. And they also created this with Nimrod, the king of Babylon. Go ahead. Which is Christmas. Go ahead.
Verse 3. For the customs of the people are vain.
Man, it's vain. It means it's empty. It's void. It's nothing. It holds no weight. You know what I mean? Going to celebrate Easter, getting eggs and a bunny, and it's void. It's made up. It's not going to do anything for you except for give you more bondage, more in debt, more money spent, and your children are going to be sad, are going to be happy for a moment, and then they're going to be more sad, more in pain after it. Go ahead.
For one cutteth a tree out of the forest.
And what this sound like? Go ahead.
The work of the hands of the workman with the axe.
He's doing something, right? He's cutting a tree out of the forest with an axe. That is the way that you worship. He's just telling you, don't be like the heathen, right? Don't go and do something, right? And follow the way of other nations. Now he's telling you what the heathens do, and he's telling you don't do what they do, which is how you worship whatever God that they are worshiping when they do what they do. Go ahead.
Verse 4. They deck it with silver and with gold. They fastened it with nails and with hammers, that it move not. Verse 5. They are upright as the palm tree.
That's good right there. Now, they went out and got a tree. They decked it with silver and gold. They fastened it with a hammer with nails so it wouldn't move, so it wouldn't fall over. Man, this sounds like Christmas to me.
Right.
You know what I mean? This sounds like Christmas to me. And the Most High is telling us to hearken to his words. Don't do what the heathen does. Right? The heathen has a custom and a tradition that his nation made from a false god. Right? And even Christmas, putting a tree up, it's a lot. Let me stay where I'm at until I finish. The heathen has a custom and a tradition. Things that he do. Different things that he do to worship whatever God that he choosing, whatever false god he is choosing to worship. So when you do what the heathen does, thinking that it's cool, it's just something just to everybody doing it this time of the year. I've always done it. You shouldn't do it. You should stop. You should learn about it. You should study to show yourself approved. You should gain some knowledge. Where did it come from? What God is they worshiping? And then assess, do I believe in this God? I say I'm a Christian. I say I believe in there's only one God. So if they're saying that they do this to worship this God, but I'm saying that I only believe in one God, will this make me a hypocrite? You know what I mean? Am I being a contradiction to my children that I'm teaching? Right? That I say spare the rod, spoil the child? You teaching them certain things. You chastising them certain things. Now, what if they start to follow what another family does? Right? What another family allows their children to do? No, that's the same way the Most High feels. Right? I did something for you. I freed you out of Egypt. Matter of fact, I freed you out of bondage. You know what I'm saying? Do this for me. Don't do something. Don't worship these other gods. And by not doing it, it would make you richer. It would make you richer, which in exchange would make your children happier at some time. They would have food. They would have the clothes that you desire to get them. You know what I'm saying? Now you live comfortably. You know what I mean? We need to get back to this only one and true God. You know what I'm saying? I was going to say something else, but I forgot. We're going to get some more into this. Give me Jeremiah 35 and 15. 35 and 15.
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 35 and verse 15. I have sent also unto you all my servants, the prophets, rising up early and sending them, saying, return ye now, every man from his evil way.
Listen, following the heathen is an evil way. You know what I mean? Following another God is an evil way. And the Most High is saying that he has brought up prophets. You know what I'm saying? To give his, in the spirit of him, and is letting you know what the Most High's will is on this earth. You know what I'm saying? And you need to take heed to what they're saying. Because what they're saying all is what the Most High is telling you. You know what I mean? What they're telling you is that celebrating the celebration of an eclipse and spending all your money out there on $1,000 telescope that you probably only going to use one time. It's not worth it. It's void. It's dumb. It's stupid. You know what I'm saying? That following after a Christian, saying that we are going to only celebrate, we are going to only pay attention to the things in the New Testament. But we have grace. So if we mess up, the Most High will still forgive us and love us. But on the other end, saying that when they see you do something wrong, they say, and they see something happen to you, they say, well, the Most High did that. Well, I thought he had grace. I thought he wasn't going to do nothing to us until the end. Until the conclusion of the earth is who goes to hell and who goes to heaven. Nothing bad on the earth should be happening to anybody coming from a Christian's perspective until it's time for you to go to hell. Should nobody be getting shot? Nothing wrong should be happening. Nobody should be dying of cancer. Nobody should be dying of any disease, right? Until it's time to go to, that your judgment is from all the wrong things you did in the earth, is at the end, you go to hell. But the Christian church, right.
That goes against everything that they teach.
Come. That's it. Come. That goes against everything they teach, and it hurts your brain. You know what I'm saying? And they wonder why the children don't want to go to church or don't. Soon as they come around with a tract, it's like they start spreading like roaches in the other direction. because like it hurts your brain. The confusion and the dumb stuff, it gives you a headache. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you say the same thing. It's never a I'm trying to think. I said this to somebody one time. Every time I have a talk with a Christian, if I try to get some clarity on in-depth like information or something on just a specific part though that they saying, like you said this, but then on the other side you said this, so these two things can't go together. They'll stop and they'll just say, because Christ died on the cross, that's their whole go-to. Right. And it's like, imagine, you talking to, this is why they children, young men, you know what I'm saying, might have a question. You'll kill that question with just the stupidity. That's why we gotta get out of the Christian church. It don't make no sense. It's all for them. It's just to make money for them. Go ahead.
I mean, if I may, this is exactly why the numbers of the people going to the Christian church are dwindling. We're in an age of information. You got young people coming up. They come into these churches. They have very basic questions, and they get sent 1,000 different ways, get 1,000 different answers, and then Jesus died for you. Just believe it. Some of my bullshit, go a little jig back. And these kids ain't falling for it no more. But the problem is, when the church don't give them the answers, then that's when you see them starting to jump into other false religions. They go from the one false church over to Buddhism, over to being Muslims, over to conscious and Egyptologists, because the church don't have that.
And you know, you absolutely right, brother Picard. You absolutely right. We're gonna give him my hand. You absolutely right. You know what I'm saying? Once they start asking questions and they can't get it, or it's not making sense, they go to the Lavender Boys. You know what I'm saying? They go, or they just go back to the street. Like, I give up. You know what I'm saying? I'ma just get money, right? Because that's what matters, right? That's what I'm feeling right now. That I need money. And what's crazy is, because when I go do interviews, everybody believes that there's a God though. You know what I mean? It's very rare. Like, even somebody who don't believe that there's a God, they still believe that there's a God. They just mad that they couldn't get the information on that God. So now they saying God don't. You know what I mean? Right. Go ahead. And what's crazy is, in a sense, they still do though. They do. Like a lot of females be saying that they don't believe in God no more. But when you talk to them, sometimes I get a vibe of like, man, I don't even get a vibe. You can tell they mad about something. Yeah, something happened in the past, and they following something else. Like, they believe in another God. You know what I'm saying? Just without them specifically telling you, this is my God. You know what I'm saying? They're reading a Buddhism book, right? Or trying to gain some spirituality from something else, right, that has a God though. Right. You know what I mean? But they just not accepting the God, but saying it, but they accepting everything you do, right, to serve that God or to gain information or whatever, right? So it's like, it's the Christian church, man. It's all of these religions. It's Islam. It's all of these false religions, because every false religion doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Doesn't make sense. And we, like you said, we in the age of technology, where the drug dealer on the corner can just get on his phone while he waiting for a sale, to read, to look at a video. You know what I'm saying? So he still believes in something. You know what I'm saying? There's no hope with the Christian church. You know what I'm saying? And not just the Christian church, Islam too. You know what I mean? Islam wants you out on the street. Islam wants you to be unalive. Honestly, if you black or if you anything but a Ishmaelite in Islam, in the religion of Islam, they want you to be unalive. They want you to sell narcotics and go back to prison, right? They want you to be out there and get hurt. Like, that's the only thing that's going to end with them. You know what I'm saying? They talking about the Isupk is aggressive. Like, they are emotionally aggressive. Every last one of them. You know what I'm saying? Even the nation. You know what I mean? You watch videos of somebody having a disagreement with them. They want to throw shoes. You know what I'm saying? That's their thing. Taking off that slipper and flinging it. Right. You know what I mean? Because of a disagreement. They are emotional. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy I even say that, because if a lot of people that's in Islam, you know, a lot of brothers and sisters that's in Islam, they are emotional, bro. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean? We're going to get some more to the scripts. You start from the top with that?
The book of Jeremiah, chapter 35 and verse 15. I have sent also unto you all my servants, the prophets, rising up early and sending them, saying, return ye now, every man from his evil way. Man,
they rising up early. You know what I'm saying? They getting up early Saturday morning. That's what the prophets doing. You know what I'm saying? The brothers that you say that are highly aggressive. The so-called black Israelites, but the real Israelites, the only Israelites, right, the real Jews. They get up early. They sacrifice their time for the Most High. They spend their gas money for you, Israel. They getting out early and they telling you about our sins. You know what I'm saying? As a nation, what we were directed to do. How we were not supposed to worship other idols by what we do. And then they're even explaining to you about how you worship these other idols. You know what I'm saying? And where they are. They not just telling you to go find out. They telling you this is a false god. This is a false god. Why it is a false god. And how we should stop. And how it should benefit us. How it would benefit us if we did stop. You know what I'm saying? The Most High is telling you this right here. He sent them. You reading it right here. So when you read Jeremiah chapter 35, you're reading about the Isupk.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So you should consider that this is the Most High talking to me through these words, because the prophecy of some people coming, some black, Latino, or Indian or Native Indian brothers coming to me, telling me about the shame that Israel has done and how we should get right. This prophecy is being done right now, right before my eyes. Like, you want to look to the eclipse for the Most High, where there's nothing about that in the scriptures, in the records. But instead, you go in a corner and you look straight into the brothers' faces, and you go against that prophecy. Come on now. We're going to get some more into it. Let's go into Matthew's 15 and Matthew's 15 and 7. Hold on. Slot. No, that's wrong. That's wrong. Matthew's 5 and 17. Slot. Come on, my talk. Tell me when you got it. All right, so now we done went through directly in Exodus when the Most High told us, do not worship other gods. How he is a jealous God, right? And then we also showed you an example with one of our wisest kings and how he made his mistake and how he fell out of the good graces of the Most High. You know what I'm saying? He died not in the truth. You know what I mean? And how that action of how he fell out of the good graces with the Most High was because he married strange women, right, of other nations, like Chinese and Japanese and white women and Africans, right, and how they let him and turn him away from the Most High. and turn him to worship other gods of other nations, right? So that's somebody who was great in our bloodline and in our history, how the mistake that he made. Then we also went into Deuteronomy, right? Because it told us about the blessings that we would get if we follow them, and the curses that we would get if we follow them. We can see in our lives and in our family the curses that come upon us, right? That we deal with. That we always ask ourselves, why are we like this? Why are we in this state? You know what I'm saying? We also read scriptures about how he would send prophets to you to teach you, you know what I'm saying, to warn you, to show you your shame, right? And not prophets of another nation, right? Because he been talking about this nation in every scripture. You know what I'm saying? In comparison with other nations. You know what I mean? That's the crazy thing. He wasn't just talking about just one. He was talking about this nation, Israel, in comparison with other nations being outside of his favoritism. You know what I'm saying? Being outside of what he requires you, a nation, to do. This nation to do. Right? And now we're going to make a conclusion to all of this. Right? Because us not following after another God is a law and a commandment. Right? Read Matthew 5 and verse 17.
The book of Matthew, chapter 5 and verse 17. Think not that I come to destroy the law.
For every Christian, for every Catholic, for every Islam, he's saying, think not that I have come to destroy the law. And what color these words are in?
These words are in red, sir.
They're in red, meaning that what?
This is the Most High talking.
This is Christ talking. You know what I'm saying? And he's saying, think not that I have come. Don't even think it. That I have come to destroy the law. The word destroy means to end the existence of. If I destroy something, a car, you can no longer use it for what its use is for. It's done. It's destroyed. Ball it up, turn it into a table, a refrigerator, or whatever you use the metal for. Melt it down, right? Same thing for you. If the Most High destroy you, a nation, right? You wouldn't breathe. You wouldn't reproduce. You wouldn't eat. You wouldn't do anything that you were supposed to do. And these laws are supposed to be an order. Something that you shouldn't do and you should do. Correct? Right. So he's saying, think not that I have come to destroy the law. Meaning, put the law to an existence. Like the Christian church says. Meaning, don't follow it. Don't do what it says do. And the things that it say not to do, allow you to do the things that it said not to do. Go ahead.
Think not that I come to destroy the law or the prophets.
Or the prophets. Meaning the prophets won't come to bring a message to you. To give you understanding. Go ahead.
I am not come to destroy, but to fulfill.
Fulfill means to make complete. If you have a picture, right? And let's say the law is a picture that you did not finish drawing yet. The Christian church would say that Christ came and that picture is no longer a picture. You ain't got to worry about it. But if you fulfill that picture, you finish it. You make it complete. Well, this is what Christ is saying. I've come not to destroy the law, but to make it complete. Right? Go ahead.
For verily I say unto you, till heaven and earth.
Salaki. For verily means for sure. Go ahead.
Till heaven and earth pass, one jot or one tittle shall in no wise pass from the law.
Now, till heaven and earth pass. Now, if the Christian church say that you're going to go to heaven or hell when you die, he's saying that the law, right, will exist until there is no heaven that you're going to go to. There would be no hell that you would go to. If we're not following the law today, then the church is lying when they say you will die and go to hell. There is no hell and there is no heaven. Right. And it shouldn't be no earth. And the jot and the tittle, the jot is a dot, Salaki. The jot is a dot over an I in the line that crosses the middle of the T. So no letter inside of any of these laws, the dot over the J in jealous, How when the Most High will be a jealous God, that dot will still be there until it is gone. Go ahead.
Till all be fulfilled.
Till all be fulfilled. Go ahead.
Verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments.
If you break one, by the Christian church telling you that the law is done away with, that is a law that they broke. Go ahead.
And shall teach men so.
Start from 19 the beginning real quick.
The book of Matthew chapter 5 and verse 19. Whosoever therefore shall break one of these least commandments and shall teach men so, he shall be called the least in the kingdom of heaven.
You will be called the least in the kingdom of heaven. And also I want to bring out one more thing about this. He said, whosoever therefore shall break one of the least of these commandments, the least of these commandments, it's telling you that there are laws and commandments that are worse than another. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't think that every sin is the same. There are sins that are worse than other ones. You know what I'm saying? Where you stop at? But you stop at.
But whosoever shall do them and teach them, the same shall be called great in the kingdom of heaven.
If you want to be great in the kingdom of heaven, every day, you know what I'm saying, you should go over these laws to make sure that you know them. You should be inside the Isupk.
Right.
You should be watching every class that you can watch too. You know what I'm saying? Trying to study to show yourself approved every chance that you can get. And you should be wanting to follow every law and to learn to love it and to teach your children it. And then you'll be great in the kingdom of heaven. And with that, we got an Isupk out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. This is the end of the Wednesday law class, and I'm gonna pass pass the class over to Officer 50 Bakar for your announcements.
Powerful, powerful class, sir. Officer 50 Bakar, and I'm coming with the security announcements. We are the Isupk out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commanding General Yohana. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are only to be saluted. They are here to shed themselves to the world. And after 6 months, if that brother or sister is interested in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. And after that 6-month period, if the brother or sister, they'll have to get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in the book of Numbers, chapter 18 and verse 21, and also in the book of Malachi, chapter 3, verse 8 through 10. It means a tenth. In the Hebrew, it is pronounced ma'ashara. Correct, sir? That's 10% of every penny, of every increase that the Lord gives you. You're supposed to give it to the Treasury Department here in the Isupk. Also, we have priest fund. That's a free will offering that you can give to the priest. It is not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give, give. We have upcoming holy convocations. Y'all know what's the next one coming up? That is the 55th annual Passover. The 1 West Isupk Passover under Commanding General Yohana. That's coming up this month, April 17th up until the 21st. Be there. April 20th to be exact, that is the Passover. Be there. Get that $200 paid. And get with us down in, what part of North Carolina we in? We're in Durham, North Carolina this year. Contact your local Isupk for more information. Remind Akim and Akwakim to check in on all social media and such for Isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube. for all upcoming Isupk events and materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, you gotta start wearing all black. Put on your black pants, your black boots, your black shirts, black headbands, and come on into the school. And with that, Amadium, we're gonna give a one courtesy salute to the teacher, men of Israel, Amadium, Amadium Shabbat, Amadium, Barak, Yahweh Hashem, Yahweh Shabbat Atah. Yazbatah, class dismissed.